Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Commodity TV in a new edition of our online interview series. Today, we want to talk with my good old friend David Suda, now with a new company, Greenbridge Metals, who is one of the founders and the CEO. David, good morning to Canada. Great to see you again.
Good morning. Nice to see you too.
Yeah, fantastic. And thanks for taking the time. I know it's very early, but yeah, a lot of good things to talk about. Greenbridge Metals, it's your new or your latest venture, I would call it. And I must say, I was quite impressed when I went through your presentation and also that you now acquired another project. But first of all, can you maybe give us a short overview on the company before we dive into your latest acquisition with the South Contact Zone?
Thanks, Jochen. Yeah, of course. This company was really finally. I've come back to my environmentalist roots. I graduated from York University as a greenie, and my focus was environmental studies. And here I am. We've got a company that we've named Greenbridge Metals, and it's for good reason, right?
Mhm.
Everybody wants to have to drive an electric car. Pretty soon I just checked and the car that I want to buy from Volkswagen, if I don't buy it soon, they're not going to make it in a gas version anymore. Seriously. So we have this, global greenification thing happening, and everybody's, Googling on their phone to find the next best, carbon free solution, and they're forgetting that that phone is made out of all kinds of metals. And so Green Bridge is really a name that goes to speaks to what this world needs. We need metals, and we need metals that are going to help with that greenification: copper, nickel, vanadium, all of these, titanium. All of these things are found at the South Contact Zone, which is a package of properties in Minnesota, which Greenbridge just picked up. A very nice option deal with great partners, private partners, private miners from the U.S. who put these properties together, over a couple of decades ago, and they were looking for a group that would be able to raise money and advance these properties in Minnesota in the Duluth Mineral Complex, an
Mhm.
extremely world famous region, some of the most prolific and biggest deposits there. Nearly 8 billion tons of metals already found, and more to find. And that's our job.
Mhm.
So, based on this, we were able to raise $3.5 million. We just closed
Mhm.
that financing. It was a private placement. Strong hands. We added these properties to the Puddy property up in Thunder Bay, which was sort of the first the nickel property, the nickel project, where we have a great chance at significantly expanding a historical resource. So we're excited.
Mhm. Okay, super. I'm also excited. And what I found really interesting, I mean, I understand copper, I understand nickel, all those kind of things. That is fine. But titanium, can you give us a bit more, maybe insight into that? Because to me, what I saw so far with titanium, it has a very high price now. It is really well sought after, and I could imagine that this gives additional value to the property, right? Large value.
It does, and
Mhm.
I mean, there are a number of reasons why we are going to be going this summer
Mhm.
to the property out of our package called Titac first. And for the investors who are watching, I encourage you to go and look at our presentation.
Mhm.
The South Contact Zone is a package of 4 properties, highly prospective in the
Mhm.
Duluth complex. Very close to, for example, I hope some of the viewers have done well with Talon. Talon has
Mhm.
has had a lot of success in Minnesota. We're just down the road, and we are going to Titec first because Titec has some incredible historical drill holes and a historical resource on titanium. 15% titanium. So these numbers are globally significant. Even for our own team, we've had to wrap our heads around what titanium represents. in the space. So it's a specialty metal. I think very few junior public companies have a resource like this to go out and tout. So our first steps are going to be to go and fly an airborne, drill a couple of holes,
Hmm.
right? This titanium occurs with some very impressive copper as well. So again, for those who want to go to our presentation, you can see that we've got a couple of call outs on historical holes that are 150 and 400 plus meters of point 0.4 copper that comes with this 15% titanium.
No,
So
that's in addition. That's together. Wow.
yeah, yeah, these things occur together, and it becomes really interesting. For us as a team, we haven't necessarily worked with this type of mineralization in our past. So
Hmm.
the groups that we're working with that are local to Minnesota and who are familiar with the project, they're bringing us up to speed, and we're our minds are blown at the potential value of this. We are extremely fortunate to have acquired the option, and we're getting moving right now.
Hmm.
Having raised the money,
Hmm.
we're on the ground, and we're in the air, and we're going to have news coming. We're gonna tell everybody about what Titec really
Hmm.
means. We're going to tell them what you know almost 50 million tons of 15% titanium, what the value looks like,
Hmm.
and we're going to go out and see if we can increase the size of this resource at Titec North.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
again, the prospectivity is there. One of the things that our group, and I know what your next question is going to be, but this is a strong technical group,
Hmm.
both that come with the project and coming to the project. And one thing that our group has focused on in the last couple of years is finding properties and projects that already have metal in the ground.
Hmm.
Uh, we don't want to go out and tell stories about how we have some new method of targeting and that there's a potential to drill a hole and hit something huge. Those are casino stories, and we've certainly in the kinds of capital markets that we've experienced, we know that you need to be able to go and work off of vectors, strong vectors, right? We want metal in the ground, and we want to increase the size of it. We
Hmm.
want to find higher grade. But if we don't have good historical information, we're just not interested. And these
Hmm.
properties are packed with historical information.
Hmm.
For a company our size, we're going to have to stay focused. We're going to go to Titac first, but I
Hmm.
could go on and on about the value in the other three properties as well, not to
Hmm.
mention Putty.
Yeah, exactly. Paddy will come in a second on it, but this is what I could imagine Michael Henriksen is also on board. Because he's to me that like how can I say that the geologist as the truffle pig. He finds it, he sniffs it, right?
Yeah, this one's funny. I mean, we're scratching our heads. We've been putting this together for a long time. We really started in September. We got Putty. We put a plan in place for Putty. We started running some programs there together with Richard Sutcliffe, who's a storied, PhD geologist. He actually introduced us once we put Putty in. He sold us Putty. We put Putty in. Then he said, "Hey guys, I've got access to these other incredible properties." And
Mhm,
so we started working on it. But we both had a lot of other things going on. We knew that these properties were interesting, and then all of a sudden we found ourselves this spring going, "Whoa, this is a monster."
mhm,
You know,
mhm,
and for that reason, that as you said, uh, Michael is a truffle pig,
mhm.
but he's a guy who's actually gonna find you a property with a truffle, not
Exactly, a big
you know
truffle.
yeah, not hopefully I heard there's truffles in the area. Let's
Yeah.
go and spend $10 million to see if that's the case. I've said this in a few other interviews with you. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than smart.
Mhm,
We've certainly been lucky, and we're always trying to be smart.
mhm.
So we'll try and do the two things together.
Absolutely. So we were talking about Titec, but I saw also in your presentation something really interesting with the Siphon-Wyman property. Yeah, there is copper nickel, and you're only 10 kilometers away from the Mesaba deposit, which is Tech and Polymet, which is a super large elephant, I would call it. So is that also one of the reasons why you have picked up that, let's say, the proximity to huge processing facilities, especially also for the titanium? Because I could imagine there must be interest, right? Because Rio Tinto, I think, is also not so far away.
Absolutely. I mean, look, this region is historically prolific. I mean, this is not. There's a reason why Greenbridge is focused on North America. There's multiple reasons,
Hmm.
but specifically in Minnesota, you said exactly. I mean, Wyman Siphon has a historical nickel copper resource, and it's disseminated mineralization very similar to what you see at Mesaba and Maturi,
Hmm.
right? So Lundine's there with Eagle. This is an area that is just laden with minerals,
Hmm.
and it's our job to be organized.
Hmm.
The biggest mistake we could do would be to go run around and try to chase every opportunity. It's an advantage to have these opportunities.
Hmm.
It would be foolhardy of us, with the treasury that we have, to run around and try to chase every one of them.
Hmm.
So we have to be organized.
Hmm.
We're going to go to Titac first, okay, and we've got good reason for that, right?
Hmm.
Again, 45 million tons of 15% titanium.
Hmm.
Very highly likely that we can increase that significantly
Hmm.
quickly. We have to do is follow up on some holes at Titac North. I
Hmm.
mean, you've got historical intercepts here from surface, including 462 meters of point 0.4 copper.
Hmm.
571 meters of point 0.2 copper.
Hmm.
And this
That's a
is
lot.
sitting,
On
this is sitting,
surface, then, right?
it's
Next
sitting
to.
on 15% titanium.
Hmm. Hmm.
So we're going to have an exciting summer ahead of us here. We're going to
Yeah.
start with some airborne work,
Hmm.
and we're going to get out with some results fairly quickly.
Hmm. Is it complicated from the metallurgy when you have copper and titanium together? I'm just asking. I have no idea. Is that complicated to get it out,
It's
or is that
it's it's,
a
it's
standard
new.
process?
It's new for us,
Hmm.
and so we're going to definitely do some met work as well.
Hmm.
That's in our budget,
Hmm.
so we can confidently tell the market what's happening there. But this region is again, there's been a lot of work done here.
Hmm.
The state of Minnesota sponsored a project at Longnose where they actually unlocked an issue, a past, issue with metallurgy, and we point to that in our presentation. So I think, look, this is one of those things where you and I are talking about something that's even new to us. At every turn of the page, at every
Hmm.
time, each time we go into the data room, we're
Yeah.
peeling open another layer of the onion, and we're just absolutely blown away by the opportunity.
Hmm. Okay, super. Let's move to Chrome Paddy because I find this also very, very interesting because it looks to me like the perfect basket of metals which are needed the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years because you have copper, nickel, gold, platinum, palladium. That is
Yeah,
amazing. It's all in.
it's a really interesting, and it was the cornerstone project for Greenbridge. Like we
Hmm.
called this company Greenbridge because of the
Hmm.
historical nickel resource there. Richard put this package together. He specializes in these rocks in this region,
Hmm.
and again, we chose a property that was the right bite size for the size of the company, and
Hmm.
also for the time in the market. So it's starts as a fairly modest nickel resource, 30 million tons of
Hmm.
0.27 nickel, but it gets bigger quick.
Hmm.
And back in the 1960s, I think Commerce Nickel did this back in 1966. they didn't assay for all of the other elements, all of the
Mhm.
other minerals.
Wow.
So, as we contemplated this, that's when we started to think of this as sort of a battery metals play, and then
Mhm.
eventually, Greenbridge Metals, which really is a company that's going to be focused on copper, nickel, vanadium, now
Mhm.
titanium.
Mhm.
Who knows what else we find?
Mhm. Okay, super. Oh, that sounds like a real game plan. So, until Christmas, what are, let's say, the most important workings you want to do then on Chrome Paddy?
We're going to fly an airborne.
Hmm.
We've got a little bit of rehab work to do, and then we've also got we're gonna drill. I think we may do some channel sampling before we drill,
Hmm.
um, and it's going to be the usual stuff.
Hmm.
You've seen how we work, right? We're
Hmm.
we're methodical. We're not going to go drill a 1,000-meter hole
Hmm.
until we feel comfortable that whatever holes we
Hmm.
drill are going to deliver us
Hmm.
uh, the results we need in order to know whether we've hit or not.
Hmm.
But yeah, we're already on the ground there.
Hmm.
We're actually mobilizing next week.
Hmm.
So that's at Puddy, and similar kind of strategy, right?
Hmm.
Down in Minnesota, we're going to fly an airborne. We're going to definitely do some drilling.
Hmm.
So there's
Super.
news flow. There's news flow coming,
Hmm.
from the programs this
Hmm.
summer, and hopefully into the fall, we'll start to see a bit more of a market where we can leverage these results.
Yeah, hopefully too. That's right. Absolutely. No, super. So you have a real game plan, as you also brought out on 25th June. Yeah, with the you outlined a strategic plan. That is super. And yeah, so then we look forward to a lot of news flow and hopefully really good news flow, as we are used to be. Fantastic.
Feeling good.
And with the financing, you have enough money way over the year end, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Super.
Our again, and one thing we didn't really highlight was that the option agreement on South Contact Zone was designed, at a really tough time. It was, we penned that agreement at a really tough time in the market, knowing that it was hard to raise money. And, at the time that we did that, we didn't even know if we could go out and raise almost $4 million.
Mm,
So what we're required to spend is pretty modest. In the first year, we have to spend 1.25 Canadian,
mhm,
which can get us great results.
mhm,
At the same time, we're not tied to some crazy,
mhm,
option spends that
mhm,
would have us hitting the market again. We raised the money we raised strategically to cover everything that we would plan on for the next
mhm.
12 months.
Fantastic. Super. David, as always, pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best and please hit us very hard with good news.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to the next update.
Super. Thank you very much, David. All the best. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was David Suda, the CEO of Greenbridge Metals, and you heard it. The drills start to turn. The works is really starting now at both South Contact Zone and Chrome Paddy projects here, and it is really amazing. Titanium with copper together. This is fantastic. Yeah. Then you have also you have copper, gold, nickel, platinum, palladium in Chrome Paddy. Amazing thing. This is a really great combination, and it is in really safe jurisdictions. It is US and Canada. This is exactly what you need. And yeah, the US is hungry for metals, so also is Canada. And I can imagine David and especially also Michael Henriksen, whom I know also quite long time, who is a top-notch professional. I have a good feeling that there we will see a lot of good results. So check out Greenbridge Metals. Thanks for watching us, and bye-bye from Switzerland.